Hi guys, PJ here today with another car radio fitters review. Putting this radio in a Volkswagen, it's one of the older Polos actually, and what I'm going to do is show you everything that comes with it. I'm going to show you any problems I encounter while fitting it, what sort of connections are on the back, what sorts of features are on it when it powers up, and basically any issues. So this is a general fitting guide, more of a review on the product. If you want a car specific fitting guide, if you search my channel, I've got probably 99% of UK European spec cars listed on there, and how to fit radios, dash cams and all the other things that you can fit to them. So this is more centering on the product, what you get for your money, what's in the box, etc, etc, and any problems I've encountered with other brands that I may not encounter with this brand. Now this is a DAB radio. The first thing you're going to need to know is it doesn't come with an antenna. There's no DAB aerial in the box, and it does not work off your car's radio aerial, so it's going to need a new aerial. So here we've got an Autoleads one. Autoleads DAB antenna, just plugs in the back, sticks on the inside of the window screen there. So we'll be running the cable for that. You can get this stuff from like eBay, Amazon, most car shops, etc. And your car will also probably need a wiring adapter, this type of thing. Depends on the vehicle, some need it, some don't. Some need bigger ones, some need smaller ones. Some need a fascia kit to make the stereo size hole correct for the new stereo. This one, like I say, it's going in an old Polo. It's a CT20 VW02, which is standard quad lock cable and aerial connector combined. This particular one has a power cable that flies off, and we need to connect this to the fuse box of an ignition switched live. Like I say, some cars need that, some don't. Refer to your vehicle specific detailed fitting guide for that on my channel. So let's open the box, have a look what we get in it. Well, the first thing that strikes me is it's packaged really, really well. There's no way a courier is going to damage this. It's actually in solid foam. A lot of the cheaper brands, they're not packaged very well. You know, they're of low quality effort. This is a Kenwood. It's a high quality product. I'm expecting an awful lot from this. What we got here, so we've got a box here with all the accessory bits and bobs inside, probably a minor instruction manual. A lot of the instruction manuals now are online on the manufacturer's websites. So we've got some release keys for if you need to take it back out again. We've got our instruction manual, a plastic frame for around the edge of it, and this is useful, plastic leverage tool. Very, very useful. You don't want to be using a screwdriver, guys, on your plastic trim. It will leave horrible dints. Also comes with a microphone, because this is a Bluetooth radio. So it's got a jack plug on the end and a double style clip. Now these are very handy. You want to be putting your microphone end up near the interior mirror of the car in the middle and angling it towards the driver's seat. A lot of people tend to put these up on the A-pillar near the side window of the vehicle. That's not the best thing to do, guys, because if you've got your window open in summer, the air turbulence noise as you're driving along completely drowns out anything that should be going through this microphone. So put it in the middle, run it underneath your headlining all the way across. This one, like I say, has got two clips. So we've got the horseshoe clip that you can sort of tuck up and under your headline and it dangles down. Or you can release the horseshoe clip and just have a flat pad. And it actually comes with a little sticky pad there, so if you want to 3M it to the top of your rear view mirror, or maybe you've got a high up center console on your roof lining, that's a sticky pad. You can pop that on there and use that, or use the clip. Either way, very good. So it covers both designs. For example, a lot of vans or campers have a solid plastic headlining, so you'd want to use this style. You wouldn't be able to shove this up underneath it, it wouldn't fit. So let's get the radio out. Radio itself has a lot of protective wrappers over it. I've already taken one bag off. And we've also got a screen protector there. You could peel that back and leave it on until you're finished fitting. Just let it lap over the edges there. So it comes with its own mounting cage, which is loosely fitted. And it's not too bad. Some of the cheap ones, like you'll see some Android ones and stuff on eBay radios, the cages are razor sharp. The cheap cages and the razor sharp, and you basically cut your hand on them pretty much every time you fit them. This is not bad. It's not great. I've actually done a couple more radios already this morning from different manufacturers, and to be honest, they were smoother than that, but it's a minor niggle. Just wear gloves, guys. Let's turn it over, see what we've got. A lot of stuff. So we have parking brake switch. This is meant to go to your handbrake so that the screen only activates when you're stationary. If you want to bypass that, which is not technically legal, because if you've got the thing on while you're driving along watching a movie, you're sort of done for dangerous driving. But you can earth this. So normally what I do, if the owner of the vehicle's requested it, is snip this and put it to the black earth wire of the radio. Okay, that will work, no problem. Then of course we've got here, microphone, where your microphone plugs in. We've got steering wheel input control wire. If you've got steering controls on your car, you can get an interface to make those work. Again, refer to your retailer for which one you're going to need. And what we got here, reverse signal indicator wire. So you can plug a reversing camera into this, okay, a Kenwood one. And this is the feed it needs to trigger it. So you go basically from your reverse light switch to this, or fuse circuit for reverse to this, and that will trigger your camera. Whole different ball game if you're running a newer vehicle or one with LED rear lights. Then you're going to have to ask your retailer, because you're going to need some bits and bobs to make it work correctly on one of those. To connect it directly up, you need a normal bulb, old-fashioned styling, otherwise you might encounter problems. Whole new ball game. Like I say, contact your retailer for advice on that one. Okay, so what have we got here? We have DAB aerial plug-in, normal aerial plug-in, video in, video out, camera in, so that's your reverse camera one, and then we've got AV in here, front out and rear out, so you could run amplifiers etc on those two, maybe even a sub on the rears there. Some pretty good connections. 15 amp fuse, so it's obviously a pretty decent amplifier built into the unit. Standard ISO connection, so this does not come with a cable that goes from the radio to a standard ISO connection. It's already there. So your vehicle should, most of them do nowadays, need an interface that plugs into there. Okay, let's get the original radio out and start fitting this and see if we encounter any problems along the way. Like I say, we're doing a Polo, so we've got our 4 release key holes here. I'm going to pop some release keys in it and pull the unit out. Quick tip when removing a lot of radios with the very spaced keys, like this Volkswagen for example, put the keys in rather than trying to stretch your hand to pull them apart. Get yourself like a rod, put them through, and then you can literally hold the rod each side and pull them away from each other to release the keys. So you're sort of spreading them like that and then pulling it forwards. With the radio now removed and all the cabling tucked to the necessary places, we're going to tidy it all up by looming it together very shortly, but I just thought I'd cut in and show you what I was on about with the reverse switch. So there's the reverse switch wire that goes to the radio. Basically we just bulleted it into the earth, so we snipped the earth, connected the two together. You could solder it, heat shrink it, bullet connector it, take your pick really, and that just earths out the handbrake switch. So this will plug into the bullet connector on the back of the radio, just there. We position the microphone directly above the mirror like I was saying earlier, using the U-shaped clip. The cables run along the edge here. To stop it falling down, you know, when you hit a pothole or such like, just wrap a cable tie around the cable, and that sort of bulks it up enough to give it a bit of a purchase, bit of a grip above the headlining, so it's not going to fall down. You can use your fingers to flex the headlining lot to pop it up. And then we're going to run the cable down here. Here's our DAB aerial that we've stuck on. Yeah, so there's a DAB aerial earthed here. Don't know if you can quite see, it's not very bright unfortunately. There's an earthing like strap there. Just brighten the brightness up for you a bit. There's like a sticky earthing strap, so you've got to sand some of the paint off there to make that actually connect to that. And then we're going to run the cables down the pillar to the bottom, down the edge of the dash. There we go. So we pop the end trim off the dash, feed them through, across and under, and obviously terminating out here. Now a lot of dashboard clips, like I say, this is not a car specific guide, this is a general guide, but a lot of them, this is the dashboard end on this vehicle and they're on like spring clips, so you just sort of pop them off. Do refer to your specific fitting guide though for the vehicle. Like I say, this is more of a concentrating on the radio and any problems. I'm just showing you some bits and bobs along the way. Just a quick pointer regarding power supplies and fuses. On a lot of cars you need to run a switched power supply so the radio turns on and off with the ignition. If you have to do that, I've got a power wire here. This is the fuse box on the end. Run all the way to the front to where the cabling is for the radio. And I've used something called a fuse spur. Now what this does is double up one of the fuse sockets to a double socket. So you've got the original fuse here running the original circuit. On this particular car I've used the heater blower circuit because that goes on and off with the ignition, and then the 15 ampere to run the radio. So it sort of doubles off, takes the power supply to the radio. Without this, sadly the radio won't turn on, so you've got to do it on certain cars. Refer to your fitting guide to double check on that. We're all plugged up and ready to go, so everything's plugged in as you can see. There we go, we've got our DAB, our normal aerial, our microphone there. Yes, I do normally tape those together for a very good reason, because they can come unplugged if you accidentally pull the cable and you don't want that. There's the red power wire that we ran to the fuse box, so we're ready to slide this in the hole and give it a go. Now I'm not going to be able to play any music on this, guys, because YouTube would give me a copyright strike straight away, so I've got to keep the sound off, okay? When your display comes up, I mean, I haven't read the instruction manual. It is pretty in-depth, actually, the one that comes with it, so it's obviously a good thing to do, but looks really simple. All your presets along the bottom here. So press number 1, there we go, and you can tune. Like so. Or not auto-tune, as the case may be. You can auto-tune these, and you can manual tune these. This one doesn't want to auto-tune at the moment, but it's had no setting up done, so we'll just stick it on a common one here, and then memorize it by pressing and holding 1. There we go, that's memorized. The reason I haven't clicked it back into the tray yet is because what you normally do is tune in a preset, hold the button to store it, and then turn the ignition off. Make sure it comes back on with the radio station. The reason you do this is to test your powers. You have 2 powers on a car radio, yellow wire, red wire. One is for constant power, so it stays on all the time, in other words the memory of the radio, and the other one is to power the radio. If they're wrong, you have to switch them round. So if it doesn't save anything, basically you've got to switch them round so that yellow goes to red and red goes to yellow. Okay, so we've gone into a demo mode by the look of it. Don't really want a demo mode. Let's have a look what other features we've got. So we've got mute here, display on and off, volume up and down, audio. Let's go to an audio. We've got an equalizer. Okay, we've got some ones preset here, guys. You can also adjust them all, which is nice. User 1, 2, 3, powerful, etc. And if we go back, there's a cover on the screen. It's like a protective cover. I'm not going to peel it off, but you can peel that off. Leave it on is my opinion, but there we go. Positioning, car seating position there. Check that out. It's quite in-depth, I'm sure you'll agree. Very nice. High quality units, Kenwood, so shouldn't have any problems with them. Speakers and crossovers. There you go. So you can literally set the frequency of everything in the car, so you're not overpowering your speakers with the wrong frequency. So we can initialize them there, we can adjust everything to the user. Handy if you're seating position, you know, right-hand drive cars, left-hand drive cars. You can sort of tone it to where you want. Sound effects. Bass boost and loudness. Okay, let's go back. What else have we got? Fader and balance, that speaks for itself. Front, back, left, right, where you want to fade it to. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got a 3-line button, which normally means something. Okay, we've got auto store on and off area, which area you want, local on and off, RDS, etc. Just quickly tapping on the menu button here brings up digital radio, normal radio, USB for a USB stick there, AV in for obviously your audio in the audio and video in the rear there. Hang on, gone back to there we go. For your audio video inputs on the back, your RCAs, Bluetooth audio and telephone. So if we go to digital radio just quickly, scanning. First time it's initialized, so obviously it's going to pick up a load of stations and initialize. Now coverage will depend on the area you're in. There are some black spots still around in the UK where you're not really going to get very good DAB audio. There we go, we've picked up some DAB radio stations, no problem. That was nice and simple. Let's go back. We've got normal radio, we've already been on that. USB, like I was saying, if you've got a USB stick. No USB stick. Bluetooth audio, no phone connector, we've got to connect a phone to that one. And lastly, let's go back. Obviously the same for telephone there. to the rears, no signal because we've got nothing plugged in. I will just point out also that this radio has a USB. So there's a USB cable dangling down there into the center console, and you can plug your USB sticks in or your phones into it. Now, speaking of phones, let's check. Yes, made for iPod and iPhone. A lot of these do not work on iPhones. Minor niggle. Now we've completely shoved the thing in. The locking latches on the side of it are a bit feeble, so when you're pushing in this trim around the edge, you can actually push the radio all the way through and it falls into the back. There's some like spring tabs on the inside of the cage. I recommend you just sort of spring them out a bit, get a screwdriver and just sort of bend them out a bit so it locks better. It's certainly a bit feeble, and I certainly nearly pushed it back through just by putting the edge trim on here. If you've got somebody who's pretty heavy-handed with the screen, they could actually shove it through. So just make sure you just bend the tabs in a bit so when it locks it's a bit more stable. Minor niggle, but still it is a niggle. I've not had that with other radios of a high quality brand, so maybe they need to reinforce those a little bit. But guys, that's it, we're all done. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you again soon with the next car installation video. Goodbye for now.